Let's make sure we are now live in the group. Boom, going live in the group. What's up? What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing today? Hope you're having an amazing Friday. We're going to be finishing up Genesis today. I'm super excited about finishing up Genesis today. We're live in the group. Everything looks good to go. All right. So we're going to be doing 45 through 50 today, finishing up Genesis, which is amazing. I've never read all of Genesis before, so this is pretty cool. So let's jump on in here. We were last wrapped up, in case anybody noticed, Joseph's brothers or Joseph's brother-in-law's son. Saul's son, Saul's sons were there, and he was like he was messing with them with his brothers and stuff. And he tricked them and put like stuff in their bag so it made it look like they were stealing. So they came out and he's messing with them now. So Joseph makes himself known. When Joseph could no longer control himself before all his attendants, he cried out, "Have everyone leave my presence." So there was no one with Joseph when he made himself known to his brothers. And he wept so loud the Egyptians heard him, and the Pharaoh's household heard about it. Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father still living?" But his brothers were not able to answer him because they were terrified at his presence. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Come close to me." When they had done so, he said, "I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold to Egypt. And now do not distress and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you." See, it's all like circular, interesting. Like I was saying before, it was sort of interesting. Like, God promised him the land, and he got sold, and even got sold to the Egyptians. Everything, he still wound up in the end to be prosperous. So I thought that was always really cool. Then Joseph said to his brother, "No, we got it." All right, let's go here. For 2 years now, there has been a famine in the land, and for the next 5 years, there will be no plowing and reaping. But God sent me ahead of you to preserve you for a remnant on earth and to save your lives by great distance. So then it was not you who sent me here, but God. He made me father to Pharaoh, lord of his entire household, and ruler of all Egypt. Wow. Now hurry back to my father and say to him, 'This is what your son Joseph said. God has made me lord of all Egypt. Come down to me and don't delay. You shall live in the region of Goshen, and be near me, and you and your children and grandchildren, your flocks and herds, and all you have. I'll provide for you there because the 5 years of famine are still to come. Otherwise, you and your household and all who belong to you will become destitute. You can see for yourselves, and so can my brother Benjamin, that it is really I who am speaking to you. Tell my father all about the honor accorded me in Egypt, and about everything you have seen, and bring my father down here quickly." Then he threw his arms around his brother Benjamin and wept, and Benjamin embraced him weeping. And he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. Afterwards his brothers talked with him. When the news reached Pharaoh's palace that Joseph's brothers had come, Pharaoh and all his officials were pleased. Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Tell your brothers, do this: load your animals and return to the land of Canaan, and bring your father and your families back to me. I will give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you shall enjoy the fat of the land." You are also directed to tell them to do this: take some carts from Egypt for your children and your wives, and get your father and come. Never mind about your belongings, because the best of all Egypt will be yours. So your sons of Israel did this. Joseph gave them the carts Pharaoh had as Pharaoh had commanded, and he also gave them provisions for their journey. To each of them he gave new clothing, but to Benjamin he gave 300 shekels of silver and 5 sets of clothes. And this is what he sent to his fathers: 10 donkeys loaded with the best things of Egypt, 10 female donkeys loaded with grain and bread and other provisions for his journeys. Then he sent his brothers away, and as they were leaving, he said to them, "Don't quarrel on the way." So they went up out of Egypt and came to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan. He told them, "Joseph is alive. In fact, he is ruler of all Egypt." Jacob was stunned. Jacob was stunned, but he did not believe them. But when they told him everything Joseph had to say, and when he saw the carts Joseph had sent back with him, the spirit of their father revived, and Israel said, I am convinced my son Joseph is alive. I'll go and see him before I die. Genesis 46. Jacob goes to Egypt. So Israel set out with all that he was, and when he reached Beersheba, he offered sacrifice to the God of his father Isaac. And the God spoke to Israel in a vision that night and said, Jacob, Jacob. I am here, he replied. I am God, the ruler of your father. He said, do not be afraid and go down to Egypt, for I will make you into a great nation there. I will go down to Egypt with you, and I will surely bring you back again. And Joseph's own hand will close your eyes. Then Jacob left Beersheba, and Israel's sons took their father Jacob and their children and their wives in the carts that Pharaoh had sent to transport them. So Jacob and all his offspring went to Egypt, taking with him their livestock and the possessions that they had acquired in Canaan. Jacob brought with him Jacob brought with him to Egypt all sons and grandsons and his daughters and granddaughters and all of his offspring. These are the names of Israel, Jacob and his descendants who went to Egypt. Reuben, the firstborn of Jacob, the sons of Reuben, Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. And the sons of Simon, Jimmo, Jamin, Hod, Jachin, Zohar. Don't mess with the Zohar, and Shalal, the son of Canaanite women, the sons of Levi, Gershon, Kohath, and I'm messing these up. The sons of Judah, I like that, Onan, Shelah, Perez, Zerah. But and Odin died in the land of Canaan. Oh, that sucks. The sons of Perez are Hezron and Hamal. The sons of Issachar, Tola, Puha, Jasperub, and Shimron. The sons of Zobin, oh my gosh, Serdin, Elon, and Halil, and were the sons of Leah, born of Jacob in Padaram, besides besides his daughter Dinah. These sons and daughters were 33 in all. Damn, he had a lot of kids. Holy crap. The sons of Gad, Zephron, Haggi, Shuni, Zebon, Eri, Radai, Areli, the sons of Ashmer, Iman, Ishev, Ishvi, Barai, the sisters of Sarah, the sons of Barai, Heber, Malchol. These were the born to Jacob by Zephra, who had Labdan had given to daughter 16 in all. Dang, man, a lot of kids. No wonder they populated the whole world. The sons of Jacob's wife, Joseph and Benjamin in Egypt, Man, Eserhe, and Ephraim were born to Joseph by Asnath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On. The sons of Benjamin, Bela, Becher, Ashbel, Gera, I don't know, Naaman, Ehi, Rosh, Mupmi. You got two names. There's like John and Jacob or whatever. When they have two names very close, Mepi and Huppi and Ard. These must have been like twins. And were the sons of Rachel were born to Jacob 14 in all. The sons of Dan, Husham, the sons of Nephri. Oh my gosh. Jazul, Guni, Zezer, and Shilim. These were the sons born to Jacob by Bilhah, whom Labdan had given to his daughter Rachel, 7 in all. All those who went to Egypt with Jacob, who were in direct descendants, not counting his wife, numbered 66 persons. Wow. with the son, not counting the son's wives. Well, with the two sons who had been born to Joseph in Egypt, the members of Jacob's family who went to Egypt were 70 in all. Now Jacob sent Judah ahead of him to Joseph to get directions to Goshen, where they arrived in the region of Goshen. Joseph had his chariot made ready and went to Goshen to meet his father Israel. And as soon as Joseph appeared before him, he threw his arms around his father and wept for a long time. Joseph said to him, "Now I'm ready to die, since I've seen for myself that you're still alive." Why would he want to die now that he's like, "You're alive. I'm out of here. Peace." Then Joseph said to his brothers and his father's household, "I will go back and speak to Pharaoh, and I will say to him, my brothers and my household who were living in the land of Canaan have come to me. The men are shepherds, they tend livestock, and they have brought along their flocks and herds and everything they own. When Pharaoh calls you in and asks, 'What is your occupation?' you should answer, 'Your servants have tended livestock from our boyhood on, just as your father did.' Then you'll be allowed to settle in the region of Goshen, for all shepherds are detestable to Egyptians." Interesting. Why are shepherds detestable to Egyptians, I wonder? That's very interesting. Genesis 74. Joseph went to the Pharaoh. My father and brothers, with their flocks and herds and everything they owned, had come from the land of Canaan and now are in Goshen. We chose five of his brothers to represent them before Pharaoh. Pharaoh asked the brothers, "What is your occupation?" Your servants are shepherds," they replied to Pharaoh, "just as our fathers were." They also said to him, "We have come to live here for a while because the famine is severe in Canaan and your servants' flocks have no pasture. So now please let your servants settle in Goshen." Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Your father and brothers have come to you, and the land of Egypt is before you. Settle your father and your brothers in the best part of the land. Let them live in Goshen, and if you know of any among them with special ability, put them in charge of my own livestock." Yeah. Then Joseph said to his father Jacob and presented him before Pharaoh. After Jacob pleased Pharaoh, Pharaoh asked him, "How old are you?" Jacob said to Pharaoh, "The years of my pilgrimage are 130. My years have been few and difficult. My years have been few and difficult, and they do not equal the years of the pilgrimage of my fathers." Then Jacob pleased Pharaoh and went out from his presence. So Joseph settled his father and his brothers in Egypt and gave them property in the best part of the land, the district of Ramses, as Pharaoh directed. Joseph also provided his fathers and his brothers and all of his father's household with food according to the number of their children. Joseph and the famine. There was no food, however, in the whole region because the famine was severe. Both Egypt and Canaan wasted away because of the famine. Joseph collected all the money that he had found in Egypt and Canaan in payment for the grain they were buying and brought it to Pharaoh's palace. When the money of the people of Egypt and Canaan were gone, all Egypt came to Joseph and said, "Give us food. Why should we die before your eyes? Our money is all gone." "Then bring your livestock," said Joseph. "I will sell you food in exchange for your livestock, since your money is gone." So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and he gave them food in exchange for their horses, their sheep and goats, their cattle and donkeys, and brought them through that year with food in exchange for their livestock. When the year was over, they came to him in the following year and said, "We cannot hide from our Lord the fact that since our money is gone and our livestock belongs to you, there is nothing left for our Lord except our bodies and our land. Why should we perish before your eyes, we and our lands as well? Buy us and our land in exchange for food, and we will with our land will be in bondage to Pharaoh. Give us seed so that we may live and not die, and that the land will not become desolate." So Joseph bought all the land in Egypt for Pharaoh. The Egyptians, one and all, sold their fields because the famine was too severe for them, and the land became Pharaoh's. Wow. So that's how so many people came into servitude. I wonder if this is pre-pyramids, you know what I mean? Like because like this is like a huge amount of people that are coming here now because of this famine, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to die. We'd rather be servants or slaves, depending on how you want to look at it. Servant sounds much nicer, but slaves for you or servants rather than die. So please take us in. So he is getting all their land. They're becoming, and all he's having to do is feed them. This is amazing. However, he did not buy the land of the priests because they received a small allotment from the Pharaoh and had enough food from the allotment Pharaoh gave them. This is why they did not sell their land. Joseph said to the people, now that I bought you and your land today for Pharaoh, here is seed for you so you can go plant the ground. But when the crops come in, give a fifth to the Pharaoh, and the other four fifths you may keep as seed for the fields and as food for yourself and the household and your households and children. You have saved our lives, they said. May we find favor in the eyes of our Lord, and we will be in bondage to Pharaoh. So Joseph established it that was a law concerning land in Egypt, still in force today, that a fifth of the produce belonged to Pharaoh. It was only the land of the priests that did not become Pharaoh's. Now Israelites settled in Egypt for the region of Goshen. They acquired property there and were fruitful and increased greatly in number. Jacob lived in Egypt 70 years, and the years of his life were 147. Wow. When the time drew near for Israel to die, he called for his sons Joseph and said, if I have found favor in your eyes, put your hand in under my thigh and promise that you will show me kindness and faithfulness. Do not bury me in Egypt. But when I rest with my fathers, carry me out of Egypt and bury me where they are buried. I will do as you say, he said. Swear to me, he said. And Joseph swore to him, and Israel worshiped as he leaned on top of his staff. All right. Genesis 48. Manesho, Mana, Mana, Manasha, Manasseh, Manasseh. I don't know. Let's see how to say this. How do we say this? What now? What are you doing? Okay, there we go. Let me see how to say this guy's name. Sorry, 1 second. Let me get Judah.
We Manasseh.
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 Manasseh. Okay. Manasseh and Ephraim. Sometime later, Joseph was told, your father is ill, and he took his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, along with him. So Jacob was told, your son Joseph has come to you. Israel rallied his strength and sat up on the bed. Jacob said to Joseph, God Almighty appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and there he blessed me. And he said to me, I am going to make you fruitful and increase your numbers. I will make you a community of people, and I will give you this land as an everlasting possession to your descendants after you. Now then, your two sons are born in Egypt. Before I came to you, here is the record of mine, Ephraim and Manasseh. What was it? Manasseh? How much was it? Manasseh? Manasseh will be mine, just as Reuben and Simon are mine. Any children born after you will be after them will be yours, and the territory they inherit will be reckoned under the names of their brothers. As I returned from Padan to my sorrow, Rachel died in the land of Canaan while we were still on the way, a little distance from Ephraim. So I buried her there beside the road in Ephraim, that is Bethlehem, Bethlehem, Bethlehem. Um, when Israel saw the sons of Joseph, he asked, who are these? These are the sons God have given me here. Joseph said to his father, then Israel said, bring them to me so I may bless them. Now Israel's eyes were failing because of old age, and he could hardly see. So Joseph brought his sons close, and his father kissed them and embraced them. Israel said to Joseph, I have never expected to see your face again, and now God has allowed me to see your children too. Then Joseph removed them from Israel's knees and bowed down, moved them from Israel's knees and bowed down with his face to the ground. And Joseph took both of them, Ephraim on his right knee and Israel's left hand, and Manasseh on his left, Israel's right hand, and brought them close to him. But Israel reached out his right hand and put it on Ephraim's head, and though he was younger, crossed his arms. He put his left hand on Manasseh's head and on through, even though Manasseh was firstborn. Then he blessed Joseph and said, "May the gods before whom my father Abraham and Isaac walked faithfully, and the God who has been my shepherd all my life to this day, the angel who has delivered me from all harm, may he bless these boys. May they be called by my name and the names of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, and may they increase greatly on the earth." When Joseph saw his father's place his right hand on Ephraim's head, he was displeased. So he took hold of his father's hand and moved it from Ephraim's to Manasseh's head. Interesting. Joseph said to him, "No, my father, this is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head." But his father refused and said, "I know, my son, I know. He too will become a people, and he will become great. Nevertheless, his younger brother will be greater than he, and descendants will become a group of nations." He blessed him and said, "In your name will Israel pronounce this blessing. May God make you Ephraim and Manasseh, so that he and Ephraim, so he put Ephraim ahead of Manasseh. I can't say his name. And Israel said to Joseph, "I'm about to die, but God will be with you and take you back to the land of your fathers. And and to you I give one of the ridge of land that your brother, and to you I give one more ridge of land than to your brothers, the ridge I took from the Amorites with my sword and my bow." 49. Jacob blesses his sons. Then Jacob called for his sons and said, what? "Gather around so I can tell you what will happen to you in your days to come. Assemble and listen, sons of Jacob, listen to your father Israel. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might, the first sign of my strength, excelling in honor, excelling in power. Turbulent was the water as the waters. You will no longer excel, for you went up into the father's bed, into my couch, and defiled it. Simon and Levi are brothers. Their swords are weapons of violence. Let me not enter their council. Let me not join their assembly, for they have killed men in their anger and hamstrung oxen as they pleased. Cursed be their anger so fierce and their fury so cruel. I will scatter them in Jacob and dispense them in Israel. Judah, your brothers will praise you. Your hand will be on the neck of your enemies. Your father's sons will bow down to you. You are a lion's cub, Judah. You return from prey, my son. Like a lion, he crouched and lies down, like a lioness who dares to rouse him. The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until he whom it belongs shall come, the obedience of the nations, until he who it belongs shall come, and the obedience of the nations shall be his. He will tether his donkey to a vine, his colt to the choicest branch. He will wash his garments in wine, his robes in the blood of grapes. His eyes will be darker than wine, his teeth will be whiter than milk. Zebulun will live by the seashore and become a haven for ships. His border will be extended towards Sidon. Issachar is a raw-boned donkey lying down among the sheep pens. When he sees how good is his resting place and how pleasant his land, he will bend his shoulder to the burden and submit to forced labor. Dan will provide justice for the people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan will be a snake by the roadside, a viper along the path that bites a horse's heels so the rider tumbles backwards. Well, that doesn't sound very nice. I look for your deliverance, Lord. Gad will be attacked by a band of raiders, but he will attack them at their heels. Usher's food will be rich. He will provide delicacies fit for his king. Nephalti is a doe set free that bears beautiful fawns. Joseph is a fruitful vine near a spring, whose branches climb over a wall. With bitterness, archers attacks him. They shot at him with hostility, but his bow remained steady. His strong arm stayed limber because of the mighty one of Jacob, because the shepherd, the rock of Israel. Because of your father's God who helps you, because of the Almighty who blesses you with blessings of the skies above, blessings of deep springs below, and blessings of the breast and womb. Your father's blessings are great and greater than the blessings of the ancient mountains, than the bounty of the ages old hills. Let it all rest on Joseph's head, on the brow of the prince among his brothers. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. In the morning he devours his prey, in the evening he divides the plunder. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is what their father said to them when he blessed them, giving each the blessing appropriate to him. The death of Jacob. And then he gave them these instructions: I am about to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave of the field of Ephron the Hittite. The cave in the field of Machpelah near Miriam, I don't know, in Canaan, which Abraham brought along the field, was buried from Ephron the Hittite. There Abraham and his wife Sarah were buried. There Isaac and his wife Rebekah are buried, and there I buried Leah. In the field and in the cave it were brought from the Hittites. Then Jacob had finished giving instructions to his son. He drew his feet up into the bed, breathed his last breath, and was gathered to his people. Wow, he's just like, all right, here it is, and then done. He just left. That's sort of cool. Just like, this is my time. I'm done. Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. Then Joseph directed the physicians to be in service to embalm his father Israel. So the physicians embalmed him, taking a full 40 days, for that is the time required for embalming. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. When the day of mourning had passed, Joseph said to Pharaoh's court, if I have found favor in your eyes, speak Pharaoh for me. Tell him, my father made me swear an oath and said, I am about to die. Bury me in the tomb I dug for myself in the land of Canaan. Now let me go up and bury my father, and I will return. Pharaoh said, go up and bury your father as he has made you swear to do. So Joseph went up to bury his father. All Pharaoh's officials accompanied him, the dignitaries of the court, and all the dignitaries of Egypt. Besides all the members of Joseph's household and his brothers and those who belonged to his father's household, only their children and their flocks and herds were left in Goshen. Chariots and horsemen also went up with him. It was a very large company. When they reached the threshold or the threshing floor of Atad near the Jordan, they lamented loudly and bitterly. And there Joseph observed 70-day period of mourning for his father. When the Canaanites who lived there saw the mourning at the threshing floor of Adad, they said the Egyptians are holding a solemn ceremony of mourning. That's why that place near the Jordan is called Abel Mizraim. So Jacob's son did as he had commanded them. They carried him to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mirmir, in which Abraham had brought along with the field as a burial place from Ephron the Hittite. After burying his father, Joseph entered Egypt together with his brothers and all the others who'd gone with him to bury his father. Joseph reassures his brother. When Joseph saw that when his father was dead, they said, what if Joseph holds a grudge against us and pays us back for all the wrongs we did to him? So they sent word to Joseph saying, your father left these instructions before he died. This is what you said. This is what you are to say to Joseph. I ask you to forgive your brothers for the sins and wrongs they committed in treating you so badly. Now please forgive the sins of the servants of the God of your father. When the message went to him, Joseph wept. His brothers then came and threw themselves down before him. We are your slaves, they said. But Joseph said to them, don't be afraid. I am in the place of God. I am in the place of God. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. So then, don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your children, and be assured them. And he reassured them and spoke kindly to them. Death of Joseph. Joseph stayed in Egypt along with his father's family. He lived 110 years and saw the third generation of Ephraim's children. So the children of Machir, son of Manasseh, were placed at birth on Joseph's knees. Then Joseph said to his brothers, I'm about to die, but God will surely come and aid and take you up out of this land to the land he promised an oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Joseph made the Israelites swear on an oath and said, God will surely come to your aid, and you must carry up my bones from this place. So Joseph died at the age of 110, and after they embalmed him, he was placed in a coffin in Egypt. And that is the end of Genesis. Wow. Pretty cool, pretty exciting, good read. I really liked that. I'm excited to go into Exodus tomorrow. We'll keep reading like 5 chapters a day. We'll do 5 or 6, whatever it comes out to. But this is great. I've really enjoyed anyone that's joining in every day. Thanks so much for being here. Feel free to ever leave comments if you want, if you have questions. I'm sure as we get more to the New Testament and start getting into laws and rules and teachings a little bit more, there'll be more stuff. But thanks everybody for being here. God bless you all. Have an amazing Friday. Be safe this weekend. I'll still